What if you could slide into 1,000 different worlds where it's the same year and you're the same person, but everything else is different? And what if you can't find your way home? Well, Robert Jeffries and I found the gateway. Now the problem is finding a way back home. This is Stumbling Through the Multiverse, a Sliders recap with Rain Coleman and Robert Jeffries II. What's up, all you sliding gentlemen and you sliding gentle ladies and those who don't identify? We are KW Sliding TV Radio. And we what's up, y'all? It's Stumbling Through the Multiverse. This is your official Sliders review. You have none other than your co-host, Rain Coleman, the Carefree Black Nerd, and I am back again after another slide with none other than Robert. What is up, man? What is up?
Hey, it's Robert. Talk to the pentagram hand, Jay. Here with it sounded like some Quiet Storm type of stuff. Like, being here in Atlanta, it was 107.5.
Yes.
No, in Chicago, it was 107.5 WGCI.
Okay.
And then down here, I think it was like 104.7.
Hey.
Or something. Yeah. So and then V103, like after they played the hip hop.
Yeah,
they were like, "Oh, the grown folks stay up to 10 o'clock at night, listen to the radio."
Oh man, yeah.
But yeah. Happy to be here. Happy to. I'm happy to talk. Right.
Okay. Okay.
This episode is something. It is something. So.
Yeah. Listeners, this is hey, if you're a Sliders fan, you already know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
And if you don't, get with it. So we're doing season 3, episode 5, The Dream Masters, which already I was like, okay, well, that's the title. Again, for those of you who may be new here, I am the newbie. I don't even know if I can really say that anymore. I'm the newbie to Sliders as far as a first watch, but I've logged damn near 3 full seasons. So I mean, maybe spiritual newbie, but no, I'm in it. I'm in the shit now. But I don't read the description. I go from episode to episode, and I don't read anything until we're live recording. Robert is the Sliders Grandmaster. Grandmaster.
Oh God, no.
Wait a minute. I don't know. He knew about it. Shit. What the hell?
Yeah, I was like, that's too close to a certain grand.
Right. Oh God, they got masters and then grand. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's pivot. So this episode, Sliders discover a powerful group controls citizens by entering their dreams, which I have a lot of words that I'd like to say about that. But before I say my words, I believe you may have some words for us.
Yeah. Before we get into it, I wanted to say, always say this is dating the show, but on October 31st, which was 3 days away, Friday, October Halloween, we stumbling through the multiverse. We celebrated our 1-year anniversary for the premiere of the series of the podcast recap series. So happy to say we've gone through 2 seasons. For some reason, season 3 seems to be a struggle. I'm not saying it's a struggle watch, but it's just like it's been taking time.
Yes.
But I think that might be representative of where the show was. But all that to say, I'm happy to be here. We've had fun and wanted to say thanks to everybody who has shared the show and also watched it and commented on the series for us and just taking this ride with us for this first year. So here's to many more years.
Yes, Lord, because I mean, hell, we got tons of seasons left.
Yeah.
I said on social media, it feels like it's been longer than a year and less than a year at the same time. And I maybe because seasons 1 and 2 were pretty quick, I'm guessing. Election stuff, countless natural disasters. Like I truly feel like, and this is going to be so cheesy, we are truly sliding from one episode to the next. The amount of shit that happens in real world between these recordings,
yeah,
not just in our personal life, just globally, is ridiculous. So who's to say we're not sliding actually? So shit. My God.
But yeah. So like you said, happy 1 year anniversary. And we just gonna keep it moving.
Oh yeah, Lord, happy anniversary. So let's. So in this episode, I just good, interesting things are happening. I had to check myself when watching this episode. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm just like in a bad mood. Let me do something different. Let me watch some cartoons for a minute, then come back. And I was not in a bad mood. That's all I'll say about that. It was consistently the feeling of this episode.
Yeah.
I'm ready to discuss the dream catchers, master makers.
I will give my initial thoughts briefly. This was an episode that I came into hating. Like this is I don't think this is one I purposely don't talk too much about when I talk about like sliders, because there are a few reasons why I don't like this one. And does it change? Do my opinions change? Sit back, sit back, and watch this recap. But those are my initial thoughts coming into it. So, Rain, if you're ready, I can jump into the recap.
Go right ahead, man.
Okay. So we see these sliders. We don't actually see them slide. We see them walking along. It looks like a boardwalk, like an amusement park somewhere in Los Angeles. The thing that I will say is that I give them props for they were trying to get out of that Universal backlot and film on location, as much as possible. So we see them at this beach, this boardwalk, and the suggestion being is that they just slid to this world from they call it Cajun world. Cajun Mardi Gras world. And it was just like the entire, so anyway, so I think they all have like Mardi Gras beads on, and Quinn has a kiss, on his cheek, kiss lipstick on his cheek. And I think Remy said something like he would have liked to have spent more time on Cajun world. So they were just they're having fun. And looks like they were enjoying themselves. So as they're walking out of the kind of amusement park area, I say some nerds on bikes cut them off. The nerds, then it's a pair of them. Nerds, they run into a guy on rollerblades, and this is like the most 90s scene ever. And so the guy doesn't recognize who these two are and complains. And when he notices the pair, there's some significance of who they are, because he starts to get scared. And the main guy, his name is Gerald. So Gerald is our main villain for the episode. He shows this guy the rollerblader his hand with a pentagram on it, and then he touches him. I think it's on his forehead, on his face, on his cheek, and kind of mushes him on his cheek, and then he says drop dead, and it leaves and on his palm, it's not even drawn on there. It's like it's been seared onto his hand. So he marks this guy. The pentagram disappears from the guy's cheek, and then he stands up and starts doing he starts walking away, or rollerblading away, because I forgot he still has the rollerblades on. And then he stands up, grabs his neck, and he starts to have a seizure. So the sliders are like the only ones really kind of paying attention to all of this. And then he has a seizure, falls down, and he dies. So Remy is once again the one who goes to get the cops. And the sliders are trying to help this guy who at a certain point he just dies. Gerald and the other nerd are watching Wade, and he smiles like a creep. This bicycle cop walks up, and I can't remember her name, but she's throughout the episode, comes up, seems interested, to help, and then she's about to call for help. And then when she sees Gerald and the other nerd standing off to the side, she's like, "Oh yeah, just in a meat wagon," and it says the attack should be listed as a suicide, and they come back to the geek, Gerald smiling at Wade, and then we get to a commercial break. So, I call this world telepath tech bro world. So what are your thoughts?
This is some bullshit. I started this and I was like, now I'm not some horny teenager who need to see sex all the time, but I hold the caveat that I could be poorly mistaken at what I'm about to say. But when you're in the 90s and you're not from or have been to Louisiana, the idea of the Mardi Gras beads.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm holding space for being wrong, but for me, the idea is there was women showing their titties. That is what and I say that because it feels as if like you the show being able to kind of play around with like maybe stereotypes or cultures in a way that other shows probably couldn't. More shows that could would be like the Star Treks and whatnot. Yeah. But it's like you give me this when that would have been a wonderful opening, even if it was the full episode. And it's not that all the women showing their titties, but it's like you allude to this thing that I feel like is maybe somewhat, I don't want to say completely sexual, but something that would have addressed this fun, fancy free, and also maybe like sex positiveness that I'm like, I know it's the 90s and I am holding space for that as well, but it was like, you get to put on the costume but not dive into the actual culture. And I don't know if that's a bad or good thing, because maybe they would have did it terribly wrong, but in a show where Quinn is always this hunky sexy man with his shirt off, and every woman, no matter the world, loves him, it's like it would have been nice to have seen Rembrandt and the professor and Wade get some sort of attention in the space that, again, not being from Louisiana, but seeing it on TV and in movies, has a certain appeal, a certain aesthetic that would lend itself to everybody being sexually desirable in the same way across the board, because you're in this not fancy, that ain't the word, but you're in this space. I know that's a lot to read into like just those first opening minutes, but I was like, y'all are covered in beads. Like y'all was having a good fucking time. You know what I'm saying? Like, give us a little bit of that. Like, we could have did this pentagram shit there, which probably, again, stereotypically would have lent itself really well because of New Orleans and the supernatural. But like, I was like, why the fuck are we at this damn Power Ranger set? I know I saw a Power Ranger fight. So this boardwalk,
there were putties like going like this. I mean,
what the hell are you doing? I remember Adam and them, but
no,
go ahead.
No, keep going.
So that's when I turned it off. I was like, you may be just being in a bad mood because you got all of that out of that first minute. You need to relax. And I came back and I still felt the same. My issue is the Mardi Gras agrees, all that about whatever. These fools, they don't learn. I get so annoyed with them, and I'm sick and tired of it. But more importantly, Pentagram Nerd was creepy. But I think he, at least in this opening, I was like, okay, this is gross. I don't like him. I know you wanted a like very immediate, like this is a villain, he's evil. But to me, in this, again, accounting for the 90s, I'm like, drop dead because we bumped into each other rollerblading and biking. I was like, this is, I don't care what world this is, you're overpowered and this scale is completely off. Additionally, with this opening scene, once you watch the rest of the episode, I'm like, what the fuck is the magic system? Now, I do get it. I was like, oh, this doesn't make any sense to me. And we'll get more into it once we start exploring the other things that happen. I was like, and I could be wrong. I'm holding space for that. But I said, this is fucking stupid. Drop dead because you bumped into me, and then you are doing something on the bike that you're not even supposed to be doing, which, okay, sure, you're the bad guy. You can do what you want. But then it's like I'm walking in the traffic and I get mad because somebody hit me with their car and now they got to die. What are you doing? Also, how did Rembrandt know that white woman was a police officer? I was like, there's nothing about her that says police.
I
Like,
thought she had something on like on her chest or on her back, like
I'll
like a
I'll check, but what I
yeah,
remember was just like the neon kind of tank top and the
yeah,
whatever. I can get
yeah.
over that, but I was like, how the fuck is she a cop? I didn't see a gun. Like America, I didn't see a gun. No, I was like, all right, girl. Drop dead, weird. I'll get into it, but Generation X
Yeah.
pilot. This is very
Yep.
Generation X adjacent. Yeah, that's all I got. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
I mean, I think to your point about the Mardi Gras beads, the I don't know what if you call it a tradition, but like the idea of like the flashing,
Mhm.
whatever, like what's associated with that. We've had worlds where they have spent like 2 minutes
Yeah.
and then they jump into the new world. So if they wanted it to be the thing of like, let's have the tech bro supernatural world be its own thing, you could still give a couple of minutes of showing them actually having fun. Like you remember they went to that oil
Yep.
rich
Yep.
world,
Yep.
and we actually saw the party, right? So we could have gotten a little bit of that. But yeah, I think like this is where I officially started to hate this person. I think there are I think what's his name? Not Greg, but Gerald.
Oh.
I don't think there's been any character in all of Sliders that I've hated as much as this dude, and it's just because of I think the sense of entitlement, and I think that's that's what they were going for. So
Mhm.
they succeeded when it
Yeah.
came to me. So just
Yeah.
like this level of rage,
Mhm.
little rage like rose up with seeing him again. Um, so we come back from the break. We go back to the beach, or they call it the park, which is weird.
Yeah.
Several times, and so the group is like telling the Officer Weber is her name.
Mhm.
Yeah, Officer Weber. I'm trying to do better with giving these people names instead of just cop lady. So Officer Weber. And Quinn says, you should be talking to those two geeks. And he doesn't say geeks, but talking to them. And
Yeah.
then she says, how stupid are you? And then she's like, you better leave the park. And I was just like, I think this is a beach, but hey,
Ah!
tomato, tomato, right?
Yeah.
Because she seemed very like highly pissed off that they
Mhm.
were reporting a crime. So anyway, so Gerald walks up to Wade and he's like, you don't understand what this means. And he's still waving his hand in front of her face. And she says, yeah, I used to draw on my hands too. And then he says, like, it's like this back and forth. And then he eventually says, I can't wait to sleep with you. And then she punches him, which I mean, for me, I enjoyed it because I can't
Mhm.
stand this dude. And
Yeah.
then Quinn stepped in, and rather than them like collectively whooping his ass, he says to the guy says, I'll see you in your dreams. So this is when you start kind of I don't know, not yet, but like if you've seen A Nightmare on Elm Street, you see the
Yeah.
Dream Warriors thing, like that's what this is going for.
Yeah.
Except that was Freddy Krueger. This is dudes in suede suits or
Yeah.
polyester suits. So anyway, so we go to the hotel Dominion. This is their place where they're going to chill out on every world. And Wade is they're all sitting down, and Wade looks worried, but she's like drawing it. She's actually drawing a pentagram on a napkin, like absentmindedly, and she says, yeah, it looks like the guy was actually being choked, the rollerblader, and Quinn and the professor are telling her that what she didn't see. And the thing that irritates me is like, why are you not? Why aren't they believing her after everything
Thank
they've been
you.
through? Like this is like this whole disbelief thing. Like we've done this in other episodes, right? We've done this shit, and with all the things that you've seen, you're doubting. So I don't know. So, and also think of the fact that she was the focus of this guy's attention after when all this shit went down. So for that alone, like try to anyway. So that's where I started getting irritated, even more
Yeah.
irritated. So then Diggs, the brother, like he's basically the Will Sasso of this of Los Angeles, right? So Diggs
Yeah.
is going to be in episodes. We love it, right? So
Yeah.
Diggs comes over, hotel waiter, and he sees her drawing a pentagram, and he's like, you better, don't draw that. And he's like, that's something from the Dream Masters. And I was like, oh, here we go with the exposition drop. And so he talks about how a cocktail waitress that used to work there got messed up by one of the Dream Masters, and that's when he says something like I think this is when he explains like they invade your dreams or some shit like that. And then he says no one can stay awake forever. And then I guess he takes the order and then walks away. So he's like, he doesn't want to be, a part of this. So at that point, Wade actually sees Gerald across the bar, and then he disappears. So, nobody can see it. So you get the suggestion that something's happening to her. So Quinn says he actually decides he's going to go look into who the Dream Masters are. Remy decide, he's going to go with him. And Remy, when they get to the bar, Remy's like, maybe we should just leave. And then Quinn says, well, if they can invade her dreams, if that's real, it's not going to matter where they are. So Quinn is just like, well, let's go whoop ass. So Quinn asks the bartender, where do the Dream Masters live? And so they decide to go to the Dream Masters place. So I'm going to just go on to the next scene. So we go to the hotel room. Wade is lying in the bed. She's reading she's scared, but she's reading a Harlequin novel. And of course, because the professor is a professor, he's like, why are you reading that bullshit? And, whatever. And, he's very pompous, and he tells her just to go to sleep, and he'll be there if she has any trouble in her sleep. And then when she's, kind of fading away, he creeps up and takes the Harlequin novel after calling it rubbish. And it's supposed to be a funny moment. And then she smiles and goes to sleep. And so at the Dream Master location, Quinn and Remy step up, and they see one of the guys that was with Gerald and another Dream Master. And Quinn says, we don't want any trouble. Can you just, tell your dude to leave Wade alone? And then the guy was like, I don't know what show this was, but he was like, he said, yeah, he said, whatever that BITCH is going to get. I don't want to say it and get us canceled. Right?
Yeah, but still.
And I was just like, where the fuck did this come from, right? And it was just like, it wasn't like, hey, chick, he went there. And I was like, yeah. And so then Remy claps back. He was like, you better watch out. And then the Suede Outfit Brigade goes into the Green Masters headquarters. So all that the first hotel scene to them confronting, these geeks. Any thoughts?
This was stupid. I was so annoyed. I'm like, these motherfuckers are the least survival instinct having ass people. I just the way they slide. These motherfuckers walk through like they own the building. You don't know what you could be in a world where anyone, if white and black people are together, people literally perceive you as a dragon. Like that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we never know what we're sliding into.
Right.
And they just be walking. I'm like, bro, I'm scared. I don't care if we are in the middle of a party. I'm still like, is this the party from Blade? Like, what are we doing? So they're dumb. But this is where the magic system starts to break down for me. And I get annoyed at the 4 geniuses yet again. Well, I say 3 in this case, because Wade is like, hey, y'all. And it gives the idea that like, oh, you silly girl, you don't know what you're talking about. This man tried, first of all, he's planning to sexually assault her.
Yeah.
Like, let's start there.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I can't wait to sleep with you. Even if you don't know about the magic system and what happens, just that very idea, maybe not in universe. Well, one, it is assault, but like in universe, you're like, okay, fuck it, you're weird. But as a viewer, you're like, you just made someone kill themselves. I may not know how, but I saw you do it. So to be like, I can't wait to sleep with you, it's like, why do we go here? Now I understand real world stuff happens. This happens in real life. I don't have a problem with it being in the media, but I was like, this is crazy. And it's not addressed. It's addressed maybe later when he's like, girls aren't okay, wouldn't look at me. Okay. I get the I don't know, preemptive red pill shit I guess you're dealing with, but like, what the fuck do you mean I can't wait to sleep with you? That is so weird to me. Then this is where the magic system breaks down for me. Gerald did not touch Wade with the pentagram hand. He grabbed her. Yeah. She hit him. He grabbed her with the other hand, and Quinn swooped in, which I was so fucking annoyed. Like, why does it have to be you? Why couldn't it have been Rembrandt or the professor?
Mm-hmm.
One, she did enough. She did a good job on her own. She didn't need, but like, why did it have to be you? What's the point? But he never touched her with that hand. And so when we get to the bar and she sees him across the way, I thought it was him. But once I realized it's not him, I'm like, but she's not asleep. And the guy who suicided himself, quote unquote, he wasn't asleep. That was like, maybe it's me, but I was like, this. At this point, I was fine with it. But as I watched it and looked back, I was like, this doesn't make any sense. But the guy's been like, oh well, he didn't do such and such, or you didn't see this, Miss Wells, and this, and I'm just like, what the fuck are we doing? Right. I'm not even a Wade stan per se, but like, she was just assaulted, and you're like, oh no, I don't care if she said he could breathe fire and he had, I don't know, 3 extra fingers on his hips. I would believe her. So there's that. Sliders have no survivor instincts. Oh, also I do want to mention that the homegirl, they had a police on the back of her jacket, and she had like a badge. It was like on her thigh, and maybe I just wasn't watching close enough. So there were indicators. Them getting involved, and I know it's a show, so we need them too, but that shit pissed me off. I was like, you don't have to be bothered with this shit. Like, y'all are not the saviors of every world you come across, and that's what. And again, it feels weird saying that because this is a serious issue in this world. But I'm just like, y'all jump in, you don't believe each other when shit happens. Then you jump in gung ho, guns a blazing. Then you're always arguing with each other about some shit, and you still hold on to these same weird ass beliefs. Oh wait, you're just a girl reading romance. Oh Rembrandt, you're just a black man singing doo-wop. Oh Professor, I was like, do y'all grow?
I don't think so. I mean, until we figured out that Rembrandt's in the Navy, there's a growth. I mean, that pissed me the fuck off. Like when they were not yelling at her, but they were just like, they were like, "Are you sure that happened?" And to your point, I don't remember him touching her.
He did.
Yeah, not at all. Not until like the next scene, right?
Right.
That's when we get the same physical contact that the other guy got. And also the weird thing was we know for a fact that didn't happen because the show makes a very good point of showing skin when that pentagram touches the skin, so you can see that awesome special effect.
Absolutely.
So they're already kind of tripping up. So the next scene is in the hotel room. We see Wade actually wake up. She tries to order coffee. They're like, we don't deliver coffee to rooms because this is tech real world. And so Wade goes to the bar to get a coffee so she can stay up. And then Gerald walks up and he's making fun of her. He's getting closer and closer. He's threatening her, and he says that also the fact a woman defying him is stimulating for him, and because he's never had apparently anybody say no. And so he puts his hand on her leg, and that's when we see the mark of the pentagram go from his hand, or basically to her skin. So the other thing I noticed, because I forgot how this episode ran, I put a note. Why the fuck is somebody dressed like a pirate?
Man, no, yes. I was like, no one else is dressed like this. Nobody else.
It was weird. I was just like, okay, maybe this is a dream part, but even if it's a dream part, why is he dressed like a pirate?
It's just him. He was sitting down like
nobody else was dressed. You didn't see a clown. You didn't see a ballet, dancer. So anyway, and so he makes a noise. And anyways, I think she gets up and walks away. And so the camera stays on Gerald at the bar, and then he just makes a noise, and then everybody like clears away to kind of get out of his way. But I'm like, if you're in a dream, why do you need to do that? So anyway, so Wade runs out into the street, and this is where things get kind of goofy, because we have to represent the dreamscape in some way.
Yeah,
is what it is. The psychic nerds are chasing her in this. This now I know that this was probably on the back lot of the Universal backlot. They're chasing her, and then they start posing with their pentagram hands up, like "Stop in the name of love." And then the first thing we see is the professor in the distance saying, telling her to run. So Professor shows up. She turns around, sees the nerds, and then she turns back around and she sees Remy saying, you still got to run. And then she gets trapped at a barbed wire fence, and then Quinn is behind the fence, and then he just flies away.
Which is crazy.
In the most goofy ass way possible. So once again, the suggestion is that she's dreaming. So she tries to climb to the top of this barbed wire fence, and her hands or her wrists get cut, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we go back to the hotel, the real world, and the other sliders are standing over her because she's unconscious. And the professor lifts up her wrist and to wipe blood off of her wrist. And then he says there's no cut on her. So anyway, so something bad is happening in the way. So then they go to the break, and then we come back to the hotel room, and the professor says that he thinks that Wade suffered a psychologically induced stigmata, and apparently that if they hadn't woken her up, she would have bled to death. And they're talking, more about it, and we think that it's a drug or some type of hypnotic suggestion that Gerald passed along to her. I guess at this point at the bar, and Wade is going to apparently encounter him again. She's going to encounter him again in her dreams,
Mm-hmm.
and they still have 30 hours left on the world. So they talk about trying to keep her up and all these different things. I think Rembrandt suggests feeding her liver. Apparently that was helpful. Coffee. Wade actually walks out. She took a cold shower and was wide awake. And, that's when they all start kind of, giving all their suggestions. And, this is when, Remy mentions now the OJ and liver when he was in the Navy. So there we go. Another mention of the Navy. And it's all kind of happening. They're all kind of talking over one another, trying to help her. And then she says, it's too much, just kind of calm down. So then the professor and the Quinn like, well, let's go talk to the police officer. Because now, you're actually, now we believe you, right? It's just like, now we believe you. You have to be bleeding out from your wrist. So anyway, so they leave Remy there with Wade. So they go back to the park beach. I'm just going to call it the park beach now. They find Officer Weber, and Officer Weber's like, get the fuck away from me. I hate y'all. I hate y'all. Get away from me.
Yeah.
And it's just like everything. And then they're like, well, our friend has gotten attacked. And then she's like, get away from me. And she is with another cop. So it is this sense of like, maybe she is putting on a front so that she doesn't get found out. So as they walk away, she follows them. And then, Quinn is just like, what, do you want to give us a ticket? And the professor's like all upset. But she says, she writes something on the paper, and she says, this is a shelter for victims of the Dream Masters. And, Quinn, instead of just accepting the shit, he's just like, why are you helping us?
Yeah.
And then the professor says, because my good sir, she was a victim of the Dream Masters herself. So it's just like, okay.
I hate that.
How did he know? Who knows? But obviously she was. And then she walks away and, says, I hope your friend gets the help. And then we move on. So before we get to one of the most crucial parts of the episode, any thoughts about all of this, going back to Wade's encounter with Gerald in the dreamscape, or the first one?
Broken magic system. So I'm assuming, and help me out here, I'm assuming the real part of this was her getting coffee downstairs.
See, that's the thing. Like, there is no, I don't know. Honestly, don't know.
Yeah.
Because I don't know when the dream picks up. I assume that after the coffee, when she got the coffee, that was in her dream. But anything after she went to sleep is kind of fair game. But then still, she might have woken up. So who knows? So I don't know.
That's where this really falls apart for me. I'm like, you didn't touch her until here.
Yeah.
Oh God, that bothers me so much. I'm okay with Gerald being this gross, creepy dude, but I don't feel like it paid off. Especially in the way that these episodes go. I just think it was poorly executed. Especially when we get to some more stuff at the end. I'm like, what the hell is this? So this, you could say Stop in the Name of Love. This Hail Hitler ass fucking extension walk they were doing. Like, what the hell is this? Like, I mean, I'm sure there's only so many ways to like just show your hand, but also I'm gonna say this now. I was gonna wait. Why the fuck does anyone live here? Why? I feel about this Park Beach City as I feel about Gotham. Why do you live here? We can get into like the real world ramifications of like being poor and being in an inner city that has terrible infrastructure and systemic issue. We can talk about that, sure, but just like as a story point, like why the fuck would I live here? I would much rather be poor in a neighboring town than to live somewhere where this very, and I will say this very racially ambiguous group of dream masters live. I was like, where is the diversity here? You mean to tell me all you motherfuckers? Okay, well, there's something to be said there. Why fucking live here? Why work here? Why be anywhere where these motherfuckers frequent? Why not burn down the Dream Masters fucking building? I would just set that shit on fire. What the fuck do you mean?
I mean, or do like Rembrandt did. Rembrandt was like, give me a 45. Like,
really favorite part of the episode.
Well, okay, so let's already go and say that was my favorite part.
Hey,
he just wanted a guy.
Rembrandt was like, where's my gun? I'm an American. That's what he said. Because what the fuck? And I hate that I had that thought at the beginning of the episode on the little boardwalk. I was like, why doesn't anyone just shoot this man? Like before I even got into the episode, I'm like, what? Unless you're telling me he's bulletproof, give him a few holes in his skull. Like, what are we doing? Park Beach Police Weber. I know what the professor said is stupid, but I want to circle back to Quinn. Why are you helping us when no one else will? Who else have you asked for help from outside of the Dream Masters? What do you mean? You ain't did no work. Y'all ain't asked for help from no. We ain't even stop at the front desk. I don't even know if this is the Dominion Hotel. I don't think they ever said that. I was like, this shit is weird. Gerald is weird as well. The magic system is weird. I just don't understand for a group of motherfuckers that's been whooping ass and throwing hands. It's 3 of them.
Yes.
It's 4 y'all. Just kill them. And I hate to say this, but like, if I'm sliding from world to world, I have no remorse of snapping your neck. I'll be out of here in 30 hours.
Yeah.
I've been arrested several times in several worlds. Why would I give a damn? As long as I got this shit, I don't know. Maybe I'm jaded.
No, I mean, we're just whooping ass. I mean, because like if there have been a group of people to do that with, this would have been the one. Okay, so maybe I'm sorry, I keep calling this this guy Negan. But like Negan, maybe not. Negan and his girlfriend, they were from like Apocalypse World. So we're not about to square up.
Yeah.
With the Apocalypse Worlds, alternatives, right? But here, it's like Wade was the only one that threw hands. Yep. If you think about it, she was the only one that threw hands. And then, I mean, shit, Quinn stepped in, but he basically pulled Remy, that kind of Rembrandt movie. He's like, whoa, hey. Right. It's just like, they were not threatening to me, the antagonists. So anyways, but next scene, we go to the hotel bar. Also, actually, shout out to Diggs. So I was happy to see the second appearance of Diggs, like the brother getting more work. So we go to back to the hotel bar, and the Gerald, the bartender, is taking up the order, or the order of the liver and orange juice up to Wade, and then Gerald walks up to him and frightens the guy to death and basically says, hey, he's like, is that liver? He's like, oh, I hate liver. And he's basically, he's like, let me see the food or whatever. And so he takes a sugar cube, rubs it along his hand, along the pentagram, and it goes from white to like purplish black or whatever. And then he puts it into the coffee. There's a cup of coffee there. So, and then the coffee bubbles up, and then he tells the bartender or the waiter, like, now you can take it up, right? And so the next thing we see after that is the Dream Master shelter, and Corey, and I'm just going to say it now. This was a set from the Corey Feldman episode, the underground area, because I was like, why is there an underground bunker underneath Los Angeles? It just seemed weird. So we're introduced to the lady who runs a shelter called Dr. Luhan, and she explains that she runs this shelter where the victims are like stuck in this coma-like state. But coma-like state. Well, what she explains is that during the REM sleep, that's when the Dream Masters get into the dreams. One of the things that we learn is that the Dream Masters actually work together, which I actually like that concept, rather than it just being one person. So it was just like this idea of many people coming together, to do this, to do this deed. And she takes them to a treatment area, shows them people who are locked in a coma, which is including her husband, who are people who have all kind of clapped back against the Dream Masters. And apparently her husband was a scientist who fought back. And what she explained was that there was a scientist named Dr. Mendoza who created this idea of being able to, Cardoza, who was able to, created this process of going into people's dreams. And it's done with a combination of, it's like psychotropic drugs or whatever. And then also using psychic abilities or whatever. Anyways, so you got to have the drugs or whatever to be a part of, to fall victim to this. And what Dr. Luhan explains is that Wade is at stage 2, and so stage 3 is like the worst. So they need to convince Wade that this is just a dream. So but yeah, like I said, the explanation: scientists began experimenting drugs invading dreams, and the college and the colleges and authorities turned against this doctor, and then his students became his disciples, known as the Dream Masters. So Quinn says, my God, he says, why can't someone just eliminate him? And I said, God damn, Quinn. And the professor, and then the professor says, can I, review your husband's research? Because, right, this is his branch of science. They just know all the damn science. So we go back to the hotel room. Remy has drunk the coffee, and I guess it was for him, and now he's knocked out. He's asleep. Wade hears knocking and on the door, and she can't wake Remy up. And so there are faces that appear on the doors, which, before we see the full reveal, it actually looks kind of creepy. The special effects are dated, right? But then we get the full reveal of Gerald's face and hands coming through the door, and that looks excessively goofy as hell. So then Wade runs to the bathroom, and then it's funny because like we're watching now Welcome to Derry, which is the It prequel, and we rewatched the first 2 movies of It. So it's kind of reminiscent of the scene from the first It. But basically, there's blood in the blood in the bathroom, blood in the sink. She starts to feel like she's choking. The blood falls out, to the floor on her feet, and then the Gerald pops up behind her and just starts yelling, and then the glass breaks in this weird effect, and then it flies at her. And when we go to the real world now, Wade is bleeding from the nose, the mouth, and underneath the sheets you see blood like rising from her chest. So to me, this was actually one of the most effective parts of the episode. It's disturbing, especially for like a campy ass show like this. So Quinn, Dr. Luhan, and the professor rush in. They come in and they see Wade and Remy, and they were like, Remy, and Remy's not waking up. And so Dr. Luhan gives her an adrenaline shot and says, it says this will help her until we can get her to the to the center or to the the refuge or whatever. And then Remy wakes up, and then as they're leaving, the professor says, how could you let her down like that? And then we go, we go to the break with Remy looking chastised. So I know you got a lot to say, because I got a lot to say about this particular moment. What are your thoughts? I mean, also going this far back as the The bartender, the scene with the him infecting the sugar cube. You're muted.
Gerald was just poisoning anybody. Gerald never once asked that bartender, "Hey, whose
Yeah.
room is this for?" I don't know if like we're supposed to just know that liver keeps you awake. I didn't know that. I didn't know that in the 90s. So like it'd be one thing if he was like, "Yeah, who in here trying to stay woke? I'm gonna get him." But he was just like, "Yeah, get over here, boy, you black boy, and watch me be, I don't know, creepy." Like I get being like a big bad villain. I get
Mhm.
being like evil and having personality, but his felt, I think he was an effective hate effective as an easily hateable person.
Yeah.
But some of this was weird because I was like, are you just like, even because even with the Joker, like if you think of the Joker, the mind, I interpret him as he is terrifying, but I also
Mhm.
interpret him as you could be on a subway with him and you could be scared that something can happen, but I don't see him as like just turning to you like, "Hey, you man in a suit, I'm gonna poison your briefcase." And like it feels like he,
Yeah.
feels like he doesn't have a focus. And so by him taking that sugar cube, turning it poison or whatever, and putting it in that coffee, coupled with his threat earlier, which is, "I can't wait to sleep with you." I'm just like, do you just walk around sexually assaulting people? Like what? Because I
Yeah.
at that point I didn't know what that was. It's bubbling, and I'm like, now you putting this man of any race would be terrible, but you putting this black man in this space where like he has to serve this coffee to someone. We don't know who it's for. Or we do, but like we don't
Mhm.
know who it's for. Does this kill them? Does this knock them out? Like, is he now an accessory to like? There's so much in that one part of
Mhm.
the scene. I'm like, this is fucking disgusting. And even fuck, I'm gonna just be there looking at this through a racial lens, which is, I think we do look at Rembrandt through that lens because of the way the show depicts him. But this episode in particular, Dream Masters, I don't want to lean so far in and be like, "Oh, slave masters." I don't think that was even a part. It could be, but I don't. That's not the part I have issue with. I have issue with, you have this group of these odd precursors to red pill manosphere who have this power, and it's like even them, they're not, I feel like, fleshed out well enough.
Yeah.
Because when I look at Gerald, I just see a white man who has power that he is abusing. That is not like, even when we get the bits of the backstory with the college and whatnot, it's still like, to me this makes no sense. There's no defining moment. I mean, yes, the homegirl was talking about, "Oh, my husband was a professor," and there was the falling out like that. Sure, but to me, that's just building the lore. I have no idea outside of the power. Well, I guess that should be. I don't. It's just Gerald is weird to me.
Yeah.
Even outside of the context of his powers, just him as a character, he's weird, which I think is a good thing because he is memorable. I will never forget him. But this also was done poorly. So again, him poisoning this coffee, and it's like, how do we know who room this was going to?
Yeah.
And also to that effect, the black man did not have to deliver that because he never said whose room is this. Maybe there's a threat of like he'll come back and ask you again later, but like you could just pour that into a plant. That was weird. Um, the liver thing, going away his room, Dr. Cardoza, wait at stage 2 short. I hate that they can science everything away. I hate that so much, and I know this is a science fiction show, but this is also like a sci-fi fantasy show. You're going
Yeah.
from world to world with these miraculous things. Why can't we go to a world where this is just how it is? Why do we have this? And it feels weird to say for a science fiction show, but this episode in particular, I'm like, I don't. You didn't have to science away any of this. It could have been this magical thing and still got the dreamscape we get to.
Mhm.
So maybe I'm picking. I was like, I, I guess I'm just tired of the professor being able to stand up and explain everything, and no one else gets that. I mean, outside of Quinn, but nobody else gets those moments to shine where like their expertise is what gets us out of a bind. Because if
Yeah.
that's the case, Rembrandt, you should have just made him an astrophysicist. Like, because what's the point of making him this doo-wop singer
Yeah.
And you're like, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? Like, that bothers me. And then of course, fuck all the other shit. I agree with everything you said about Wade and the special effects and all that. I really did like the dream world. I can say that. The professor, how could you let her down?
Yeah.
Bitch, what? Okay. The way that Rembrandt is positioned in the show pisses me off to no end. I know it's not the same, but this takes me back to him singing for, what was that? Like the Wade that died back on like military non-communist world. I was like, why are you, what are we, whatever. I'm just like, y'all are using him, and I do understand where we're going, and of course, having seen this, I know what comes from this. But for you not even giving Rembrandt space in this episode prior to this is weird, because the argument can be made this is the 90s, they don't do serialized episodes like we do in 2025. I'll give you that, but what I won't give you is, if that is the case, then why have you not established that Rembrandt and Wade are extremely tight in this episode? In this episode, they should have been spending, like, Rembrandt should have came to her rescue. It shouldn't have been Quinn. Rembrandt and her should have been kind of arguing about what happens next. They should have been tight in this episode, where you would have thought that they were adopted siblings, so that when you get to this point, then maybe I can give it to you. But we're in a world where motherfuckers control dreams, and you really gonna cuss me out about this shit? You left your son back on Earth Prime and don't give a fuck about him. Every world we've been to, you've never looked for him. I'm gonna have to stop, because I am.
No, I mean, so the biggest thing for me is that this we have established that this group will get on each other's nerves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just kind of the nature of the beast, because they are traveling from world to world to world. They're stuck with each other. And even with the person that you love the most in your life, sometimes you irritate the fuck out of them, they irritate the fuck out of you, right? So all that to say that I could possibly see a minor conflict popping up in this episode, right? With that in mind. But to sit there and say, you are the reason why she is bleeding from the chest, that's a lot, right? That's a lot, even for the professor, who is just like, who is, for lack of a better term, he's an asshole. He's a pompous asshole. But the other thing was, literally in a few scenes before, your ass was over there you fell asleep the same way that Rembrandt did. And because we don't know what the timeline is for going into the dreamscape and not going into the dreamscape, you did the same thing, except in your case, all three of, all y'all like start looking down like it was a fucking football movie or whatever, looking at her on the ground. So basically he did the same thing. He made the same mistake. So this like out of left field of him like coming at Rembrandt so hard, and then Rembrandt not clapping back immediately. Like, he should have yelled at them as they walked out. He was like, "Fuck your fat ass," whatever, or something like that. It does speak to how Remy. I'm sorry, like I said, I love the brother. I love Clavon Derricks, but they kept second character in him, in this show. So I hated that. That was, we'll get to like the moments we don't like, but this is one of them. So yeah, but like I said, and it didn't feel earned. Like you said, it didn't feel earned for the professor to come at him so hard.
And my thought is, scene can happen the exact same way, but you make the professor more hurt. Like, damn, man, we needed this. Then I would be like, oh shit, man.
Yeah.
But you coming at him hot, nobody's responding well to that, whether they're in the wrong or not. What the fuck?
Or something like, what happened?
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't even go to what happened. He said, "Oh, so this is what happened, right?" So,
well, I know why Cop Weber. I could see it on her face. She's been, which also that never paid off.
Yeah.
Fuck the professor, man.
So we go back to the Dream Master, the Dream shelter or whatever. Dr. Luhan is trying to save lives. She gets a blood donation going or transfusion from the Professor and Quinn. Apparently, she, I don't know, did she even mention getting blood from Remy at this point? So, Remy and the Professor are looking at each other, pissed. So nothing is going right in the Sliders' lives right now. So then we go to the Dream Master location. The first thing I wrote is I hate this place and I hate these people. All the nerds are wearing leisure suits. For some reason, women are dancing in cages in the background. And then the Max Headroom actor walks up with lipstick on. And it's not the Max Headroom actor, I'm sorry. And so, but this is Dr. Cardoza, or the scientist who created dream mastering, whatever you want to call it. And he's like, Gerald says to him, he's messing up Wade and has a young girl. Anyways, I don't know. The Gerald tells this guy, like, hey, you want to, this is what I'm doing, are these their jobs?
Like,
that was the other thing I just thought about. Like, do y'all do anything for a living aside from just fucking people up in their dreams, right? And so he's just like, he says it because the reason I ask is because he says it like it's a project. And it's just like, do you clock in and clock out and just fuck people up for the rest of your lives?
Yeah.
So and then he asked Cardoza, hey, I would like for you to join in on this psychic assault against this woman. And so it basically looks like they're all controlling the effectiveness of this dream. So the more people you have, apparently, the more effed up they can make the dream. So like I said, this is kind of a project for them. So the next, there's a lot of hopping around, so bear with me. So we go to the dreamscape. Wade is trapped in an all red tinted elevator. Voices start screaming and they keep messing with their head. Then we go to the shelter. The professor figures out from the research after maybe 20 minutes that if they can get a drug directly from the hands, from the pentagram burns or whatever, the tattoos, whatever you want to call it, they can make a solution to counter the dream. And this is from the research that Dr. Luhan's husband was doing. Yeah, it's a lot. And then Quinn says, how do we do that? Cut their hands off. And the professor says, that's a thought. And then we cut back to the Dream Masters headquarters. I said, all these haters working to traumatize Wade. Gerald is smiling goofily. And they're all sitting in this room. For people who haven't watched this episode, it's this long table. It's this long table that is lit. And you have about like maybe 12 people sitting around the table. With Gerald at one end and then Dr. Cardoza on the other, and they all do they have their hands on their heads or do they have their hands?
Like they're doing something like there is something like this, and I'm like Professor X and Jean Grey. Like
so they're doing let's say Professor X, right? And so everybody just looks evil. So then we go back to the dreamscape. The screaming stops, the yelling stops, and Wade is trying to get out of the elevator and she can't get out, and then the elevator looks as if it's falling, so she starts screaming. Then we go back to the shelter. She goes into cardiac arrest. In real life, we go back to the headquarters. The Gerald calls the time and he's like, din din din, time of death. And then Cardoza says, you didn't tell me that she was in a shelter. And and then Gerald's like, oh, I didn't think that was important. And then Cardoza says, well, she won't give up, so we haven't murdered her yet. And so then we go back to the shelter. Dr. Luhan, because she's doing her job, brings Wade back, gets a heartbeat. And then Remy is just like standing around, and the professor says, get the hell away from her.
Which is
it's just like, yo, this is a lot. And so I'll end it with, let's just stop there. Because that was a lot. Any thoughts going back to the shelter, when they bring it back to the shelter to this?
All these white women in this white queen cosplay go dancing in the four corners of this. I'm like, what? And I know that is like outlandish, but that coupled with what they're doing to Wade really is, again, what makes this magic system weird to me, because what is the point?
Mhm.
Like I do get the fear, I get the make people scared of us, I get the we're on top because we have powers and they're
Mhm.
afraid. That's not lost on me. But what is lost on me is why are we killing everyone? I'm assuming these women are being held here. Maybe that's
Mhm.
part of their job. You dance
Yeah.
here for 7.75 hours and then you go home. But my concern is when you go to the extreme for everything,
Thank
why
you.
the fuck do I have to be scared at all? Because
Yeah.
at this point, I'm going to die naturally.
Mhm.
And if I run across you and you kill me at the supermarket, then why? I guess it goes back to my question before: why live here? It was just like, oh, fucking well. Like I'm going
Yeah.
because I think this would have been more effective if they were torturing people because that makes more sense to me. Like even if it's just to elicit fear,
Yeah.
and that's the magic system is all thrown off because I'm thinking, okay, somebody pisses you off and you attack them in their dreams, and then they spread the word, don't fuck with these dudes. They're in my
Mhm.
dreams. I'm make them go quote unquote crazy for lack of a better term. But when you're just killing, like, it makes this is weird to me because what do y'all get from this? And that's why I think that they're very underdeveloped because if they
Mhm.
are this like very insatiable, they have this insatiable desire to murder and kill and wreak havoc at the slightest inconvenience, I will
Mhm.
accept that. But you haven't established that. This man who was rollerblading very terribly, you ran into him. You looking back, laughing and running to him, and now it's like die. Girl, okay, before I die, I'm snapping your neck. Now we both dead. Now what?
The other side of this is kind of what I was going to for is
Mhm.
that going towards was that we don't know what they do in their 9 to 5. So like when they gave the exposition or the background, the lore about
Mhm.
this Dr. Cardoza creating this, this drug, or
Mhm.
this thing, it was like they didn't say, and then he created a multi-billion-dollar
Right.
pharmaceutical empire. It was just like, no, we created this creepy ass place, put on leisure suits,
Mhm.
and then just went and we just started terrifying people because nobody would date us when. See, the one of the things that I call them tech bros because that's the closest
Yeah.
allegory that I have in like present day. But at least I'm not saying at least in our world, the tech bros are making money,
Yeah.
right? In this world, we don't know what they're doing aside from being excessively evil.
Yeah.
So that's the issue that I have with them, like you said, being underdeveloped.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that's I like what did they do with this power? But the only thing that we get is in the next scene where he was like, oh, those girls wouldn't have tried to date me when I was
Well,
in, and it was just like,
like who the fuck cares? Like I
what?
don't. I I you they didn't even give us we're expanding this. We're initiating new men from different walks of life and
Yeah.
or just different parts of the country to
Hmm.
grow our like it's and there's no women here. I didn't see a woman in part of so I'm just like you're leaving so much on the table that is making the viewer, even the quote unquote less woke viewer, read into a lot of shit because you're not fleshing any of this shit out. And then you got this old ass man who is he a vampire? Is he like what
Right.
is he? What is he?
Like,
What the fuck was this man? I was
like
like,
why do you go to such extremes? And like the thing that I loved is that, okay, so you let's say he may have been popular like in the 70s,
yeah,
right? So that style of dress maybe was a shit.
yeah,
So why are they stuck wearing that same type of outfit? Why is he wearing, like I said, if he wants to wear makeup, that's cool,
yeah.
but
Looks terrible though.
it's not like he's in drag. Like
Yeah.
it's just to make him look evil. So it's
And
just like
what I'll say is to your point is that Disney, in order to make someone visibly evil, put them in purple and made them gay
yeah,
coded, and
yeah.
that's exactly what this is. Because other than I have,
Like queer coding or something.
yes, that with
Yeah,
Maleficent, with Scar,
yeah,
with
yeah,
Jafar, with yeah, and even what's her girl, Ursula. Like yeah, you're getting these
yeah,
very over the top,
yeah.
for the time, very counterculture
Hmm.
aesthetic. is being placed on them, which made them lovable. I love them motherfuckers. But
they're
that's
amazing.
what he is. But I'm just like, this is like quite literally, this man could have been. They all could have been smooth as hell. They all could have been just cool.
Yes,
like they're even and even with them being nerdy, that I don't even think there's anything inherently wrong with that. But you're not subverting the nerdy. It's not like, oh, they're so nerdy and geeky. Look at them, and they're standing up for themselves, and now the power is going in their head. It's like, no, this is just weird ass dudes who got a weird ass fucking ringleader who, again, like you said, what do y'all do?
Yeah,
You're just shit. It's fucking annoying. What the fuck? I have the professor. Got a solution. God damn it! What is this? What do you get? What do you get from killing people? That's I don't understand that. Why not make them suffer? I think that would make your reign a little bit more, I don't know, legitimate. Shelter. This is another thing that makes me say, what the fuck is up with the magic system? Why didn't you tell me she was at a shelter? Oh, I didn't think it was important. Do you not have the same understanding that Cardoza does? How do you, the one that the show is saying is like next in line, not understand that it's important that she's at a shelter? That is weird. That's weird as fuck. Also, you grown ass men, like, let me join the harassment brigade. Okay, y'all don't got your own people to like. Why are we killing this woman to get? And why kill her to begin? Like,
it doesn't make any sense.
Lastly, Professor, get away from her. I would have stabbed him with a scalpel. I would have gutted that motherfucker right where we lay. You in the right place for it.
Yeah.
I there's it would have taken so much to pull me off of this man's head. Boy, fuck you.
Yeah.
What do you like? Out of all the shit that these people have been through, I do get bumping heads. But you think this woman, well, I forget the doctor's wife, the blonde lady, Dr.
Dr. Lujan.
Dr. Lujan, medicine woman. She's doing her job effectively.
Yeah.
And you tell me, I'm sorry, we would have been fighting. I'm the one who's been in the Navy. We would have been like, there's no way you talking shit to me like this. And there's no way I'm taking it from you. Like, boy, fuck you. We've been sliding for 2 fucking years. I'll slice your throat and we'll find a new you on the next earth. I'm done.
Yeah. So we go back to the headquarters of Dream Masters. So apparently Cardoza is pissed that they didn't murder this woman. And then, right, like
crazy.
And then just evil for the sake of evil. And we talk about somebody evil for the sake. Once again, Negan, from that one episode, he was an evil dude, but it just felt like better as far as like written. Like so. Anyways, and so Gerald says, "Let me do I'll make it up to you." And then Cardoza says, "Well, we terrify the world because we were some lames." And then Cardoza says, we have to make them all dead or in a vegetable state for us to be seen as threatening. And I was like, okay, this is dumb. And so when Cardoza leaves, Gerald starts losing it because he's like, I showed off and I didn't accomplish killing this Wade. And then the friends say, well, we'll help you because, you're next in line. And then we get this line where he says, girls like her never used to pay any attention to me. And then he says, let's finish her. Let's do something with razors, which for me is like, how do you know that she has an aversion to razors, right? So anyways, because one of the things that they establish is that your fears are manifested, right? So if your fears are manifested, you are manifesting those. It's not somebody like maybe they are enhancing those fears, but you come into it with that. So he never said anything before that said, oh, we've learned that her fear is razors. I would have been like, shit, her fear is elevators because she was on an elevator, right? Right. So anyways, we go back to the shelter. Quinn says, we'll have to fight the nerds in a dream state. And the doctor says, well, we need the scrapings from their hands I'm like, we already said this. And the professor says, let me go and get somebody's hand scrapings and can't because he's he's giving so much blood. And then Quinn's like, I'll go and get the hand scrapings. And it just seems like a weird. So it's a weird way to save the day, right? You have to scrape somebody's hand for some shit. So Dr. Luhan gets the test results because I guess they did take Remy's blood off camera. And it says that his system, he says to the professor, his system is filled with orphanese. There's no way that he could have been awake because it's a drug that the Dream Masters use to, I guess, apparently put people to sleep. So then the professor's like, whatever. He doesn't say, what have I done? But he has this look of like, what have I done? And so we go back to the Dream Masters headquarters because like we only got 45 minutes to tell the story. Quinn sneaks in, calls one of the nerds to the closet, apparently beats him up in the closet, and then comes out wearing his clothes, which are too tight. And he's gotten a sample. So I'm like, why change clothes? Yeah. If you snuck in there looking like your regular self, why do you need to change clothes if you already got whatever? He's got the hand scrapings. Does he show the bag that he's carrying them in, or is that later?
I think that's later. But...
Okay, so that's later. So I'm trying to go through this because, like I said, it's a lot of jumping back and forth. So we go back to the shelter, and Remy is the professor sees Remy standing by himself, and Remy says that he decides to stay with Wade on this world if she doesn't wake up. And then before the professor actually says what happened, Remy turns the tables against the professor. Sorry about that. And says the professor always has to be right and can never get anything wrong. And I'm like, yeah, Remy. And then Remy is clapping back. And that's when, and so as Remy is kind of telling the professor about himself, that's when the professor tells him about him being drugged. And I love that Remy drags the apology out. Mm-hmm. And, they're having this mini argument, but then it gets to a point where they're happy and they're hugging. And it was one of those things where it was just weird. And so then the doctor shows up, during that moment, and says that they're coming after Wade. The Dream Masters are coming after Wade again. They're at level 3. We go to a break, and then we go back to the shelter. And the professor tells, I think, Remy that once you go into the dream, that they will come across in the dream state. Anyways, big thing here is that Quinn comes back with the sample. Dr. Luhan says that they're ganging up on her. Quinn in the dreamscape, Quinn sees the nerd. No, not Quinn sees it. Basically, Wade sees the nerd, and they're flashing razors at her, and that's what it is. He cuts her in the face with a razor and is playing with the razor in his mouth. We go back to the shelter. The Quinn professor and Remy are given the drugs, concoction that was made from the hand scrapings, and they go into the dream state. They're strapped onto gurneys, and I do like the fact that Quinn asked about the professor, which I think might be a callback because he's worried about his health. Mm-hmm. I thought might be a callback to his sickness. Mm-hmm. Or because the show is what it is. It's just and so anyway, the doctor says that they have to remind themselves that nothing they encounter will be real. And she puts him under. We go back to the dreamscape. Quinn appears at a coffee shop and starts yelling for Wade. Wade is being cut with a razor and yelled at by Gerald. Quinn shows up, gets between her and Gerald. The team is back together. The professor, like I said, this is like rapid fire shit. Mm-hmm. The professor is standing in front of a firing squad, and then he gets shot. And then he starts doing some of the best acting of his career. He goes, "This is just a dream. It is just a dream," or whatever. So Quinn, as we see Quinn by himself. So then we see Dr. Luhan's husband, I guess the other Dr. Luhan, and the other dream victims show up and hold their hands up in solidarity, like the Jesse Jackson poster from A Different World. Watch that show, kids. It's a great show, and that's a great poster. But it's solidarity. So then after Quinn asks him what to do, and then they step back into the mist. And so then we go back to Wade and Remy in the Beetlejuice house. Snakes are coming out of the holes in the walls. Remy says he's like, you know what? Let me have one of these, snakes strike me to prove that they're fake. And then the CG snake cobra with a pentagram on its head or a crown or whatever you would call it strikes Remy and nothing happens. And then Remy and Wade are out of the set of Beetlejuice. Then we go back to the Dream Master headquarters. I just wrote, I hate this place. Then we go back to Dreamscape. Quinn is drowning in quicksand, and he's flatlining in real life. So Dr. Lujan brings him back to life, and he says, send him back. And he says, because I saw your husband and I know how we have to save Wade. And he was like, together we're stronger. So she puts him back under. We go back to the dreamscape. Now Quinn, Remy, and the professor show up to save Wade. And then the nerds show up. And before I forgot, Remy did mention before they got into the dreamscape that he would love to have a 45, to help him out on the dreamscape. So this is way back when. So now we're in the scene. The nerds show up. They do Stop in the Name of Love with their pentagram hands or penta hands. Remy asks for a gun. He gets it. He shoots one of the guys. As Rain and I said, that's our favorite moment from this episode. The nerds throw knives at them. All the knives pass by them. The second nerd, respect to him, he just runs off.
No, truly. Yeah.
He just runs off. And then Gerald is like, you know what? Whatever, Mortal Kombat in this piece. And so he creates a ball of fire, shoots it at the trio. Quinn catches it, throws it back, and then burns the guy to death. So then at the Dream Masters headquarters, this is the ending resolution that we get for the bad guys of this entire episode. Gerald walks out of the room with a flaming arm while the other Dream Masters run out of the room like they were, they scared. And that's it. That's all that happens with them. We don't see them again at all. So then we go back to the shelter. Wade wakes up, says she's sleepy. They apparently have 12 hours to slide. And then Dr. Lujan's husband wakes up, including and suggesting that he and the other people that were in the comas are awake. And Dr. Lujan, who's been helping them, she says, fuck y'all, let me go talk to my husband. And I think they were even going to talk to her about sliding, explain to her, about, and then she's like, oh, I don't care about that.
Right.
My husband's back. And so Wade says, count her out for any celebrating. All the sliders decide to go to sleep. And before they go to sleep, Quinn says to Wade, sweet dreams. And that's how the episode ends. So going back to Cardoza, the leader, talking about y'all should have killed her, to now, any thoughts?
This episode is stupid. They fucked up so much. There was a moment when Gerald, discount Lestat, had his breakdown in front of his friends. And this could be me reading into it, but I think they did this and it didn't pay off. This episode feels like a part one because those two guys, they were like, yeah, we'll help you. And then the other guy who called Wade a bitch, he was like, oh, we will? He was like, yeah, because so they set it up where it felt like those two guys were going to double cross Gerald.
Right.
That's what and I was like, okay, where's that? I'm thinking we get to the end and they kill him because they want to be next in line. Nothing came from that. I was like, why have this very unclear ass shady moment with them then? Whatever, that pissed me off. Then what I want to know is if Dr. Lujan, the husband Lujan, had this research with this finding, why the hell why are we hearing about it from the professor's mouth? That's his research. You didn't go and look in a textbook and figure it out. This is how is this not suspicious? But whatever. Gerald, weird as fuck. Remy. Okay, Remy saying I'll stay here with Wade. That touched me a little bit. I was like, okay, that's. I mean, every other episode they threaten them to stay somewhere because they sick or something happening. So whatever. But I was like, okay, I like this because it would have been an interesting way to take the show if they did decide to do that. I still say fuck the professor because even with that, Rembrandt cuts him out and then them having their back and forth and then ultimately, we're friends again. I stand by Rembrandt. You thought so little of me after all the shit that we've been through.
Yeah.
Also, I don't even know if you're the real professor. So calm the fuck down. But that aside, we've been through so much together, and this ain't me talking about singing. This
Yeah.
ain't me, I left Wade because I got a record deal. Like and he called him out like, you are a fucking asshole. You act like your shit don't stink and you do the same shit and whatever else. It's like, even with an apology, the professor isn't, I'm not saying he shouldn't be himself, but that was not a genuine apology. Like, yes, me as Rembrandt can say, okay, and you need to apologize for this and for that. But this whole like comic relief of like, yes, I'm sorry that I did this. And I'm like, girl, that's not, fuck
Yeah.
you. You might as well not say nothing. I don't think they should be friends.
Well,
I'd
I
say,
mean, it's just like don't play this apology for comedy after you've accused me of indirectly murdering our
right.
family. It's like,
take it a couple steps back. We can be upset that Rembrandt fell asleep, but Rembrandt didn't pull the trigger. That's like your friend borrowing your car, knock on wood, it don't happen, but then they get shot.
Yeah.
You might blame yourself because, I let them take my car, but you didn't pull the trigger. We can feel bad that they took the car and got shot, but we need to be mad at the people who how dare you? That's a motherfucker who can control dreams, and you mad at me for falling asleep? Boy, fuck you. I can't get over that because it doesn't seem like these motherfuckers learn. I really wish that I could just give me 6 episodes of Sliders and let me write them. Actually, there's 2 writers on this podcast.
That would be
12 episodes, and let
amazing.
us, because just little shit needs to carry over. Where was Wade's journal?
Yeah.
Like, where are some of the skills that you learned from other worlds? It's okay. Together we are stronger. Okay, Power Rangers. I get it. Together we are stronger. Mm-hmm.
Like, have you seen Dream Warriors?
No.
Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors.
No.
This was if we're talking about movies that each of these episodes are pulling from,
Mm-hmm.
that's what this one was pulling from.
Oh.
So if you see Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors, that's basically what this is.
Okay, then I'm less mad at that because at least you're
Mhm.
pulling from. So I'm like, okay, girl, that's fine. Like, together you are not smarter, but you can be stronger. This is why I feel like this is also why I feel like this is a part 1. Gerald lives, but he lives in a way that felt like, oh, I'll be back. Like,
yes,
the way he lived felt like, what's the motherfuckers, the ancient, the cousin, the humanoid,
the Comax.
Yeah, that's how he felt. It felt like, they thought they got me. I'll be back. Because at the beginning I was thinking, what a phenomenal threat if he can still be in her dreams when they slide.
Mm-hmm.
But then it felt like, no, they're cured. They won. But then when we get him just kind of dusting himself off, I'm like, oh, so he's gonna attack them. It feels like a part 1. It feels like there should be a second episode, and I know there's not. I didn't even looked at them. I know there's not. This was very bad. And then the whole like, oh, we're just gonna go to sleep. No, girl, what the fuck? We've been on this earth for so fucking long. Any other episode we slide in 4 times an episode. Like, why are we still here? But Luhan don't want us here. She got her man back.
Yeah, because she ran off. Like, I respected the hell out of that. She was just, they were going to try to talk to her about sliding, and as soon as she saw her husband, she was like, I'm gone.
All that. This bitch is sliding. We got Dream Masters. I don't give a damn about that shit. Like, get the fuck out of it. Like, this episode, a better ending is them waking up, going to the Dream Masters headquarters, and burning this bitch down. Because they've done shit like this in every other world where you're fixing this grand problem. Y'all didn't fix shit here. When y'all leave, these people still. This is where you should have been interfering. They should have decapitated all these motherfuckers. I don't care.
Or at least have a simple scene of the police arresting them, because the suggestion now is that with whatever treatment they just successfully did, that this can have a ripple effect. Like, I'm fine with every couple of episodes we have that ripple effect. And if anyone was needed more than ever, if this was it, like Gerald just walking out, like you said, well, I live to fight another day.
Right.
That type of thing. Like it, and it would have brought the officer back for like a
There we go.
resolution, which would have been proper. And you don't need to like, I don't make it a big elaborate thing. You just film the same fucking scene the same day with them being arrested. So it's just like, or some.
I'm sorry. When you just walking in these motherfuckers' lair and scraping, like
the shirt was like so tight. It was just
like, why are you taking this man's clothes? You are a pervert. Leave these people alone. You've already got him in the closet and you've scraped off whatever from his hand, which is already odd that you're able to do that. I ain't saying they all got to be big and strong, but did this man not use his hand on you? Like what? You're not leaving here with all the limbs you came in here with. If you pulling me into a closet, this was dumb. I'm so mad.
So there's a part. I'm trying to make this short. Obi-Wan TV show on Disney Plus, worth checking out. If not, just for Moses Ingram. Shout out to her. There is a part in there where they are sneaking out of the base, and it is Obi-Wan, I think, with a child on his shoulders, and they have them in a robe or something. It looks like a cartoon type of thing. So that's what Quinn looked like to me.
Yeah,
wearing that tight ass shirt. Because maybe when he snuck in there, he was inconspicuous, right? He could have like played it off, but whatever. Yeah, there was some goofy shit that happened. I mean, a lot of goofy stuff happened in this episode. So you ready for the superlatives? Okay, so what's your favorite? Well, we already said our favorite moment. When Rembrandt shot that guy in a dreamscape, and then the guy twitched to the reality. What was your least favorite moment from the
probably the whole episode.
Okay.
Like I can
go with that.
Well, no, I don't want to say that because I did like the Wade dreams, like the Wade in the elevator. I thought that was a nice, practical stuff. Even her in the bathroom with the blood and like, so I can't say it because I did truly enjoy those scenes. So if I do have to have a true least favorite, it'll probably be Gerald in that black extra, like turning that sugar cube, because that it just also helped be just fucking weird with this magic system. That I'll say that because I was like, what do you like? You're tormenting these people for nothing, for the joy of the game, and you not even the top dog because the show positioned Gerald as like the big dude until Cordoza popped up.
Yeah,
and I was like, he ain't even break his legs. Like, what do you just kill? Like, whatever. So, him harassing the, I don't fucking the whole episode.
The non-acting bartender
was the extra with no lines. Also, the pirate. No,
the pirate was the best. He might be the best character.
Like, they was just like, come on, man.
So I think my least favorite scene is probably going to be the professor getting on Remy, because it was, as far as character development of where we've discussed this at length. This shit came out of left field, so it is what it is. And what about your favorite character and your least favorite character?
Favorite probably would be Dr. Luhan. Because honestly, looking at the entire episode, well, I don't know, because I do think this was a good episode for Wade. But I've seen her be good in episodes before, and I do think Dr. Luhan was probably the wife. Dr. Luhan was probably the only person that had like adequate responses to the things that were happening, and she didn't feel cartoonish. She felt real. Like, even though she's no Jillian of the Spirits, but she definitely like, she delivered her lines. She like, her movement in the scene was good. She like, everything about her felt like the very opposite of how Gerald was portraying his and I know they're two different characters, but she felt like we were watching a serious drama, whereas Gerald felt like here's this comedic relief come to life from the pages of a comic book,
Yeah.
not in a derogatory way. So yeah, I think probably Dr. Lujan. She had to be my favorite. My least favorite, it's kind of difficult because I hated the professor, really hated Quinn. I hated the characterization of the Navy boy Remy. But I think I'm going to go with the professor even over Gerald, because Gerald is annoying, yeah, but this is who you are. This is what the show is giving me. The professor, on the other hand, regardless if he's our professor or not, he's been with them long enough that your immediate response should not be, especially after you went blind in like 2 episodes ago.
he said,
And
fuck
Remy
all
was
that.
like right there holding your hand, not giving up on you. You were in a cave on Dino World with a truth cop. Like there's, he's my least favorite. I can't.
They don't remember shit. The writers didn't remember stuff, and once again we can't keep coming back to this thing of like it being an episodic format.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, okay, so favorite character. I'm gonna go with Wade because she don't get that a lot.
Yeah,
I think it's mainly because she doesn't get episodes where she's centric, or like centered as much, or like the center of the episode. And not just for that, I think that there was kind of a strength that she had, when fighting back against these guys, but then there was also some there was fear, there was a little bit of weakness there, which I think still kind of pairs well with strength, because like this is the first time that you are being terrorized in your dreams like this. So I felt that she kind of had that she had an arc, she had an arc for this episode. So I enjoyed her. She was favorite character. And then least favorite, I really want to say Gerald, just because I hated him. And that might have been to their benefit, but we did, to the benefit of being a capable antagonist, but we also did talk about how he is so over the top, weakly written. I'm just gonna say the writers.
Call them out.
Yeah, this was one where I felt, and we've seen this before in other episodes, but for some reason it feels like maybe because of how hard the professor came out against Rembrandt, was out of character, was out of the 3 seasons that we've been going through. But then the other thing is that conversation with the professor, Wade, and Quinn, where the professor and Quinn were like, what the fuck are you talking about? Dreams? So that type of thing. Like, we've been through too much shit for you to be sitting here denying what she is, saying that she's dealing with. So I would just say just the writing or the writers for this. It's my favorite cast of characters. So out of no, I'm not gonna say pentagrams. Out of 10 sorry, like I don't fuck with that. Out of 10 leisure suit wearing Dream Masters, what are you gonna rate this episode?
This one I'm not giving grace. I know the last time I was like, oh, at least I had fun. I'm not giving this one grace. I would rank this one really low. And I mean extremely low. This would probably be a 4 for me. And I'm standing firm in that. I didn't like this. Everything was extreme and poorly done. And the Wade scenes that I enjoyed are not enough to have me overlook the stuff that went wrong. This is a solid 4. And that's me being generous. This is not good.
So I got 4.5.
Okay.
I think that's giving. I don't know if it's giving grace, but the 0.5 is just for Wade and Dr. Lujan. That's the 0.5, and the 4 is all the bullshit.
Yeah.
This episode. So, I will say that this season,
Man,
it's like we are not.
bro, no.
Oh man, because I'm looking at the numbers in front of me, man, and this is a struggle this season, yo.
Yeah, their
And I
fault.
think, are we even halfway there?
No, this is 5, right? We ain't even at 8. I think this is
No.
5. Yeah, man, fuck them, bro. This was terrible. This was really bad. This was really bad. I'm sorry. This was really bad.
Yeah,
And like,
that's all you can say. I mean, yeah, I think the halfway point would be, my God, it's 25 episodes.
35.
It's 25.
Oh, still, but oh shit. Oh,
Oh man, Ray, we might have to double up for a couple episodes.
I mean, honestly, because Jesus Christ.
Okay. We love sliders, y'all, but come on,
yeah.
this is there's something about this season where it feels like it is dragging. I'm just being real.
It's just they're doing silly shit, and there's so many spaces I can give you grace, but this was just terrible.
Get ready for that, y'all. We might have to double up. No. It's like,
I touch him in being terrible. I was like, oh shit,
no. Yeah, we'll talk.
Yeah, we'll talk. For sure.
But yeah, I remember coming into this episode, it was mainly because of Gerald, but there was just something I did not like this episode, and it kind of held true to form. And I know that there have been ones that we've talked out where I'm like, okay, you know what? Different perspective.
Yeah.
But this ain't one of them. This is not one of them. So, but yeah, that's it for episode 5.
Yo, listeners, let us know in the comments. How did you feel about it? No, don't be afraid to say you loved it if you did. I will.
Yeah, I mean, if you liked it, if you liked it, that's cool.
Ooh, it was something. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. You have any final words for this funeral? I mean, for this episode?
No. I think we've officially put this one to rest. Yeah, we've put this one to rest, or one to bed. So no other final thoughts.
Well, my final thoughts is I can't wait for fucking episode 6. God.
Yeah.
So, well, listeners, viewers, hope you had a good time, and go back and watch the episode if you haven't, and then let us know how you feel. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you check us out. Our links will be in this. Oh yeah, shit, you go ahead.
Me. You can find me. Our website is Robert K. Jeffrey, RobertKJeffrey.com. Best place is, social media, Instagram. So RobertK.Jeffrey. Just a heads up, we will have I have a Kickstarter coming up for a comic book that I'm a series writer for, called The Fox Chronicles, and it's about a teenage girl from Atlanta, Georgia, in the near future, who uses super abilities to fight against human trafficking. So so we're doing a Kickstarter for the first 2 issues. Getting ready, like I said, pull trigger on that on Thursday. So, just kind of, visit my Instagram page. I'll have links up there, and I know, like, when we put this episode up, maybe we can like update the links to kind of have that in there too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So just kind of put it out there, and then it'll run for 2 weeks. So share the Kickstarter links, and pledge as much as you can,
and more.
Yeah, and more. But any help, the shares, the pledging is always great. We're always grateful for that. So so stay tuned. But those are 2 main places you can find me.
Good deal. Make sure you check them show notes, them links, share them out, send one out at least once a day. Keep sharing. Fox Chronicles, you heard it here first, folks. I'm saying, find me on social media. I'm around. I don't know, CarefreeBlackNerd. Just type it into everywhere. That'll be linked in the show notes too. I'll just be kicking it. If you like books, prose books, I got some romance books out. Rain Coleman, author. That'll be down there as well. Much appreciated. And then hell, that's it. Yeah. So slide on with us to the next one and stay carefree, stay nerdy, stay geeky, stay contributing to the Fox Chronicles Kickstarter. Make sure to check the links in the show notes. Make sure to meet us back here for the next episode. And I don't know, y'all. Just be safe. Whatever. Bye.
Yeah.
Holla. Oh man.